Okay, guys. Hello. Thank you for last time. For you who follow me sometimes, this is a direct emission from the wonderful name of Norway. I get this phone here, so I'm actually using my laptop. So what I'll do, I will put on non-disturb on my phone, so I'm not going to be disturbed while I'm making this video. So it's January 26th in Norway, late afternoon. I just came from church. I was in visiting the church from a good friend of mine, pastor or bishop, as he calls himself sometimes. They call him Victor Adeyemi. So he has a small group. He had it for many years in Stavanger. He also has some groups, I think, in other parts of Norway, but he comes from Nigeria, and he has quite a big, important group of churches in Spain. So he is basically serving the African immigrants, but of course I feel very welcome there anytime. Well, it's a long time since I was there, actually. So today we were just a very few souls there in the gathering, and this seems to be a problem all over the world. I think that people don't really make the effort to go physically to join a church meeting, and in many ways I can understand that because maybe you live far away from the church, or it doesn't the meeting doesn't fit with your agenda, your timetable. Maybe even you don't really like to go to the church because they're asking too much thing from you, your time, your energy, and all kind of stuff. You feel like, I feel like that many times. But church is like, it's that time again, and I've heard it all before, and it's nothing new, and it's like going in circle in your mind. So, what is the best thing? Not the best, but one of the more important things about going to a physical church meeting is that hopefully you have the possibility to talk together. The people there, you have the possibility to learn to know some new people, or to meet old friends and ask how are you going and so forth. Maybe after the meeting you can join together, you go to have a dinner together, or walk in the park, wherever you're going. So it's very important. I miss that part of being in a physical church. So anyway, I was given mm, the humble invitation to be the preacher today, and I wasn't prepared for preaching, but I'm always prepared. So I brought this book with me. Okay, maybe you know the book. Very nice. So we were studying there. I was reading from Matthew chapter 10, the whole chapter, and then I read something from Romans chapter 8 and 1 John 5, 7 to 8. If you know your Bible, you can check it out. Anyway, today I want to discuss a little bit about where to live in this world if you have the chance to do so. So when I was in this meeting, I sat next to an African woman who has become a refugee. So I asked her what her name is and so forth, and I understand she came as a refugee initially from South Sudan, and she has 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl, and her husband was killed in the fighting there in South Sudan. So they left to Uganda, where she stayed for several years in a refugee camp in Uganda. And now, for just above 1 year, she came to Norway, to Stavanger, and she has been given an apartment by the community here, and she's going on Norwegian language course. So I wish I could have a longer time to talk to her, but anyway, it's very interesting, that somebody from South Sudan is up in Stavanger in Norway. And I'm not always for that because it costs our country a lot of money. But the way they are acting, I mean, that's how they do. Of course, you have to respect people, especially people who are real refugees, if they have been living in refugee camp for years and then they decided to be worthy to come to another part of the world. That's okay. That's okay if we can afford it. Now, what is important, if you see my text, the text of this emission, it's like where is it best to live in the world, and that is actually a very privileged question, because most people in this world don't have that option. They cannot even move out of their neighborhood. Maybe they are trapped in a neighborhood with crime and drugs, all kind of problems, and they just have no resources to transfer to another place. You understand? It's even for me to transfer from Philippines back to Norway. It was very expensive. Yeah, it takes a lot of money. The ticket, and then you have to have a place to stay. You have maybe to get some car, some furniture, whatever. So even if I'm a citizen of Norway, it doesn't mean that I'm just like able to go anywhere, anytime. It costs money, but the good thing is that I have a Norwegian passport. Okay, and I have the possibility to make some money in this country compared to if I was living in the Philippines as a just ordinary person there from not from a rich background, maybe for just from a poor background or middle class. It's very difficult to have these aspirations of where do I want to live. Of course, many Filipinos, they know English, they take a good course like in university, become doctors, dentists, nurses, or they become sailors, seamen. There are special schools established in Philippines by actually Norwegian uh, ship companies, boat companies that educate Filipino sailors to work on the Norwegian ships. So and those people to see the world, the sailors especially, of course, but even the overseas Filipino workers, they go all over the world. Some of them go to Europe, some of them to the Arab countries, some of them to Southeast Asia like Singapore, and yeah, some of them go to USA, among others. So if you are among those persons who are stuck in your country, like you are in Cameroon, you are in Nigeria, you are in South Sudan, maybe not so many listen to me from South Sudan, but you know the drill. Kenya, Madagascar, uh, India, mm, Iraq, whatever, Iran. There are so many people who have also difficult passports, so you're not really welcome anywhere. Okay, so I'm not. Um, I'm very humble because I have the possibility to actually choose basically where I can live in this world because of my nationality. Norwegians are very well respected in almost all countries around the world, and hmm, we also are part of the European community, so it's very easy for Europeans to move around to their neighboring countries, and and many of my how can I say, the many of my listeners here or followers, they are living in UK or in Europe or in America, North America, Canada, etc. And so many of us, we love to move away from these cold, frozen countries. And we have found that Thailand is a very nice place to stay. I have currently a room in Thailand. I love the place. I have also my family in the Philippines. My boy David, he had his birthday today, 7 years old. Congratulations, David, my beloved son, for reaching the age of 7. So he has never been outside the Philippines. His mother, my wife, she has been with me a couple of times abroad, once to Thailand for a month, and then we got married in Malaysia 1 year ago. So she has spent some days in Kuala Lumpur with me, and she loved it so much. So one thing is to travel around as a tourist. That is one thing that I can recommend everybody who has the money and possibility. It's very nice, amazing to travel around the world, to see, meet different cultures, eat different food. Yeah, just amazing. The weather can be, here in Norway it's very cold, but people come here to see the northern lights in the winter. Northern lights, but you must go further north than where I am to see the northern lights. Okay, so anyway, the thing is that we have this expression. Like, maybe you want to move away from your country. I understand it. I did it. I did it absolutely. But there is a saying in Norwegian. It says that away is good, but at home is best. Borte er bra, hjemme er best. And of course, when I came back to Norway after so many years, I've basically been away from Norway for 10 years. And so I only had like 3 months in total during those 10 years that I spent in Norway. So you can imagine I have been very estranged from my own country. And I'm very happy to be back here. I actually gained like 10, 12 kilograms since I arrived here. I've been here now I came to Norway at all the end of May 2024. So I've been here for quite a while now, and I just cannot stop enjoying myself, eating all this lovely food we have here. People are enjoying. I mean, I'm being invited, and people will serve dinner, and I think it's quite rude not to eat what they serve. So, yeah, so many temptations here, and I was supposed to be back in the Philippines now. So, of course, many people are curious about how is it to live in the Philippines and how is life there, how is it to live a long time outside of Norway, and what is your plans for the future. So I'm actually very pleased with the people in the Philippines, my woman there, my child, her family, uh, so many lovely people I met in the Philippines, and it's much better place to live if you want to have contact with even totally strangers. You can meet up with them just like that on the street or wherever, and you can have a nice talk to them and have a good, interesting conversation. And then you say bye bye. Maybe you never meet again, but you had an interesting conversation. That is very difficult to strike such a conversation in Thailand. In Indonesia, in Bali, I had so many of those conversations. I'm even friend with a guy that I met first time in November 2005. Agung, he calls himself. His name is not Agung, but he's been living there like a guide, tour guide. He comes from Java. We are still in touch after all these years. We're talking now like 19 and a half year almost. So you can meet wonderful people, and I love the people in Indonesia also. Many of them, at least in the tourist area, they speak quite well English. So we had very many nice conversations. While in Thailand, that is a totally different story. So if you go to Thailand, you want to settle there, you should probably find a place where you have some of your fellow countrymen around, or at least somebody who speaks English. Okay, so that is because Thai are very difficult because of the language barrier. Of course, that's number one. Very difficult to befriend. Yeah, you can befriend them on, like, if you go to a bar or something like that, and you know their name, they're working there maybe, and yeah. So that's one thing, but to really have strike some deep, intelligent conversation is basically impossible. Now, if you are into churches, it's quite a good idea actually to be affiliated with some church group. Either it's a Catholic church you're going to, or I don't recommend Catholic church, by the way. But my point here is if you go abroad to another country, even for me to move from Norway to Sweden, it can be quite hard to find the people that you can relate to. But if you join the local church, hopefully you will meet up with some people, you will make contacts, and you get their phone number, whatever. You hang out, you meet at outside the church hours. You can do something together, So that is a very good way if you're moving to another country to try to find some church fellowship, uh, and then you have already some an environment where people know you get to know them, etc. So that is very important. But again, I will stress that the proverb we have in Norway is "borte er bra, hjemme er best." Away is good, at home is best. So, but sometimes home becomes quite an unlivable place by some reasons. So here in Norway, we can talk about the climate, both the physical climate, the political climate, the religious or spiritual climate, and also it's extremely expensive here. Everything is controlled, So I actually became very depressed when my Norwegian wife kicked me out and took my kids and my house. Of course, what I'm gonna do here? What I'm a loser, and I cannot even afford to. Maybe I have to sleep in a tent. You don't get how hard it is in Norway, and the tent is not good to sleep in the winter, at least. So, yeah. So if you have the possibility to move away from such a place that you feel like, oh, I'm a nobody here, and people despise me, or I despise them, whatever. Of course, there are so many nice places you could move to, or at least consider to take some longer vacation, so you can find out what is best for you. So, me being a Norwegian, my first priority would be Sweden. I've been living in Sweden for 1 year. I went to Bible school in Uppsala, Sweden. Word of Life, Livets Ord, Bibelcenter. So I had to learn Swedish because the guys in Sweden, they don't understand my dialect from Norway. So basically, I'm speaking Swedish, but I keep my R. Tjenare, hur går det grabben? so Swedish and Norwegian is quite similar languages. There are some different words, but it's easy for us to communicate and to move there, also politically. So there's like a free movement scheme for many, many decades between Norway and Denmark and Sweden. I think we can also move to Finland easily, but Finland, some of them speak Swedish, but the official language is Finnish, which is totally crazy in my ears and eyes. I mean, I love the Finns, but they must speak Swedish if I were to be living there. Okay, now Finland is extremely cold in the winter, extremely cold, guys. Also, parts of Sweden is that. So you really need to love the winter, to love the snow, to be prepared for what is gonna happen during the winter time. Okay, and then the summertime is beautiful, but too short. But we have long springs and long autumns in this part of the world. So if you have the possibility, I would really recommend you to go to Sweden, because Sweden is much more affordable than Norway. Even now, they have been more strict now recently with immigration, because they let too many people in the country too fast, and many of them, they have a totally different background, totally different cultural values, etc. So it has been destabilizing Sweden quite a bit. But I will commend them for how they treated the people during the lockdowns, because Sweden was the only country in the Western world, so-called civilized world, that let people keep their freedom. It gave them some warnings. Okay, there is probably a dangerous virus here, so you should keep distance. You should wear a mask. You should like this and like that. But they didn't close the schools, at least not all schools. And there was no mandate on you wearing a mask. They probably would persuade you to take the vaccine, as they did all over the world. But if you refused, I think you would still be able to live and to keep your job. Hopefully, I think so. While in all other so-called civilized countries in the world, it was basically a terrible time. And also in Thailand and in Indonesia and in Philippines. I lived in the Philippines during the whole period. It was really, really terrible. So if you want to move to the Philippines, of course I suggest the Philippines. If you want to find a woman, if you are a man, you want to find a woman, a good woman, why don't you go to the Philippines? If you are a lady, uh, maybe you are in I don't know, I mean anywhere in the world, South America, Africa, Asia, wherever, you should consider come to meet your husband in Norway or in Sweden or Denmark or Europe, because we are very friendly guys. We really respect women. We really respect women, but we hope that also our women will respect us, which is not the case. Basically, that's why so many men moved away from here and got to Thailand and to Philippines to um, well, they got their wives from Poland, from Russia, from Ukraine, mm, because the Norwegian women are not totally up to our standards, at least my standards, because they have been destroyed by feminist society. So, what I would suggest is you can go to the Philippines, and you are most welcome there on a tourist visa. And if you act properly, and if you have the financial situation to do so, you could live in the Philippines for up to 3 years on a tourist renewal of your tourist status. And after 3 years, you have to leave, maybe only for one day, and come back again. But anyway, I would say it's a country that is very easy to move to, just like that. And Indonesia, I love Indonesia, especially Bali. Oh, I love the place so much. The problem is too many people love the place, so it's getting very crowded, and they are not very easy for long-term stays. You have to get through some needle's eye. You have to have quite a good income and a lot of details in order for you to be able to obtain a long-term visa in Indonesia. Now, Malaysia is a lovely, lovely country, and with very affordable living, and the people are super friendly. Infrastructure is good. So it's up to you guys what you want to do. I'm live stream here, but I think I have to cut out my live stream very soon, because my friend might be coming back, and he likes to disturb me. So if I just hang up, it's because he's coming, but I'm hanging here in the live stream for as long as I can, basically. So if you're there, you have some comments to what I'm talking about, you're allowed to chat. I have chat messages here. Some people ask me to go live, and here I stay now in Stavanger for quite a while. I basically moved into my friend's apartment here in downtown Stavanger, and it's a very nice place to stay, of course. But yeah, he likes to be involved with me all the time, like we are doing things together. And so it's like, okay, it's difficult for me to have some privacy. Now I have privacy right now, so I'm trying to go online live as I did. So I see you guys. There's one like, okay, and there's 2 people follow. So don't be shy, guys. It's interesting for me to see who you are. But anyway, I will just continue my thoughts here on where to live. So actually, some people should consider going to, of course, South Africa. So Frankie, my good friend, he's from South Africa. He has so many good things to say about South Africa. And also, some people are very fond of going now to Ghana and Kenya, even Madagascar. I think it's a very interesting place. I would love to go to Madagascar. And the thing is, it's very cheap in most of these places. Some of them are expensive. Nairobi can be quite expensive, but So basically, the cheapest countries where you actually get some civilized infrastructure, and where the society is working on a quite basic good level, I would recommend Thailand is very good. Malaysia, very good. Yeah, very, very good. Cambodia is more on the developing side. Vietnam, okay, it's a communist country, but if you can manage to make some business there, you can stay. The food is lovely, the people are lovely, absolutely. Um, and then you have some options. Of course, if you are from America, you can go to Panama, you can go to Mexico, you can go to all those places down there. Argentina now is turning out to be very interesting. Argentina with this extremely interesting new president that he was there for more than 1 year, and he delivered a fantastic message at the World Economic Forum in Davos just recently. He's an amazing guy. So I think maybe Argentina should be on the top bucket list for people who want to resettle. The problem is if you resettle like in Philippines, try to settle in the Philippines or in Thailand or Indonesia, you will never be given the opportunity to buy property, to buy land, to buy house, like you are allowed to do if you come to Norway. You're allowed to buy anything here. You can buy a car, you can buy a house, you can start working if you have your own business. You can bring it to Norway, no problem. And so, but it's a lot of taxes here, of course. So anyway, the thing is, everybody have to fend for himself. You understand? There is not one country that will receive you like with open arms and just hugs and kisses. Even if Norway would do that for a while, but then suddenly you realize that you are trapped in some kind of mental prison, spiritual prison here, even financial, because the taxing is so heavy that even in this country it's very hard to save up money. You're gonna spend it all, guys. You're gonna spend it all. So if you're from the US, I think maybe uh, you have many options because you can move like down south. You can move to Florida if it's too hot where you are living right now. Those southern states, sunshine states, that is very popular, as I understand it. But the prices have gone up also. Then you have, of course, the Dominican Republic. You have Costa Rica. You have all kind of places where you can move, which is quite in the vicinity of the US. And why people would move to Europe? Well, maybe if you have a good job, a good education, if you are a medical nurse or you have some good skills, you could probably be quite well off moving to Norway, for example. Yeah, or to Germany, to France, whatever is your, yeah, even Spain. I love Spain, but the labor market is not so successful and busy and booming neither in Spain nor in Italy, as I understand, nor in Greece. So it's and then yeah, it's all up to you. Actually, I was in Croatia for a week some years ago. I was there in the beginning of June. It was very beautiful, very lovely, and quite affordable. But it's like in the outskirts of Europe, so there are many things that doesn't work so well in Croatia as they will do in other countries. So, but you have to decide for yourself if you can um, want to resettle. You should try to learn as much as you can about the place, about the history, and if you really feel welcome, if you have the freedom, if you are respected, that's good. If you're not respected, maybe you find another place. Okay, we have a short life, guys. We have a short life, and maybe it's good just to stay put where you are, really. But if you want love, you know none of the national ladies around you give you any attention at all, and you feel like so alone. Of course, get out of there and get to a place where you can feel appreciated by the ladies and find love. Okay, That's basically what I want to say. So I didn't have any comments on this live chat, but that's okay. I hope you enjoyed. You can leave some comments after when I finish this one. So I had a 30 minutes emission here. Greetings to all my friends all over the world. Hope to see you soon. Bye bye. God bless.